Hi, this is Ken from the Freeplane community. This is going to be a video series about using Freeplane in Bible study, specifically a technique called phrasing, taught by Bill Mounce, a top Greek scholar who's taught in seminaries. He was on the translation committees of the ESV and the NIV. He's written books. He's a pastor. I was very impressed with this technique. I watched several videos on the internet, and I wanted to see if it could be duplicated in Freeplane. So one of the videos was about Titus chapter 2 verses 11 through 14, which we see here. Sometimes things are hard to grasp if you're just seeing text in a big block like this. So phrasing is a way to break that apart, analyze it, take some time over it to slow down and really look at it. So this is what phrasing looks like. It's like a sentence diagram, but instead of breaking it down by words, it's by phrases, and it's less formal. So you find the key ideas and push them to the left. For instance, here, the grace of God has appeared. That's the furthest thing to the left other than the verse numbers. So everything else is indented to show its relationship to this main phrase. And he also has arrows which indicate, this one indicates this is a pronoun referring back to God and Savior Jesus Christ. This is kind of a relational or context arrow that shows the relationship of this section of text to this phrase. So here we see that everything's aligned based on the word that it modifies or is relevant to. So grace, the grace of God, is relevant to bringing salvation to all people and teaching us to deny certain things and live certain things. And appearing of the glory of the great God and Savior Jesus Christ is related to the blessed hope. And this zealot for good works. And zealot, I would have thought it'd be, most translations use zealous. So I think this is probably his translation. And like I say, he's a top Greek scholar, so he's perfectly capable of translating. But this applies to the people. Now he did this in a word processing program on a Mac. And the reason he likes the specific program is because it lets you draw arrows. But I got thinking, I don't use word processing programs very much, and I got wondering if this could be somewhat duplicated in Freeplane. Freeplane is not typically used for displaying things like this, kind of a layout, like a layout program. It's designed to handle data. It can handle massive amounts of data. It's designed to let you quickly input and manipulate and organize data so that you can see a hierarchy and a structure. So Freeplane has a learning curve, and especially if you're using it for this kind of display purpose, it has an additional learning curve. But everything has learning curves, and word processing has its own learning curves, although it's much less than Freeplane. All you have to do is know how to use tabs, and if you have a program that will let you put in arrows and whatnot. But Freeplane is very doable, and I encourage everybody to try Freeplane. So this video series is about my efforts to and my approach to using Freeplane to simulate this phrasing diagram. So the first thing I'm going to do is move to this node that has the actual Bible text. I'm going to copy that node, Control C. I'm going to go back out here and paste that, bring it over here to the left. And I'm going to go into the details and cut that, and I'm pressing Shift Insert to create a new parent, and I'm pasting that text in here. Then I'm going to convert this to just the default text style. I have a quick and dirty way of he goes into a lot of detail about how he breaks these apart into phrases, and you really should watch his video. I'll have a link in the bottom below this video. My quick and dirty method involves an add-on that let me take a look at these. It's this Wikti node, and I suggest you get that. It's pretty handy. I use it all the time, but it's accessed up here once you install it on Edit, Split after characters. The first character I like to split is to split sentences, so I put in a period, and sometimes it has periods, sometimes it doesn't. And you'll notice that this and this are duplicated, so I'm just going to get rid of this one and then move this back. Then select them both again, and then Edit, Split after characters, and this time I search for a comma, which is often a break in phrases, but it's not guaranteed. So click on this and delete it because it's a duplicate. Click on this, it's a duplicate of that, so we're going to delete that. Then you select this and move it back, move that back. So now we're ready to try to duplicate this. I'm not going to go into the rationale for how he breaks these into phrases. I'm just going to try to match his. So 4 is on a line by itself, and then the grace of God has appeared as his important point. So I'm pressing the home key to get in and edit this node. I'm going over to the, and then I'm going to split it with Alt S as in Sam. So that splits it. And now he marked it with yellow highlight. I'm going to mark it with a style that I already have for meaning important to me. And then I'm holding on the Alt key and moving the mouse wheel away from me to change the width. Oh, and I should have put verse numbers. I should have done that before. So Shift Insert creates a new parent, and we'll put in 2:11. This goes there, this goes there. Teaching us is a new verse, 2:12. And this is another new verse, 2:13. Shift Insert 2:14. Okay, so now they're in verses. Okay, so his bringing salvation for all people is aligned with grace. And I could start putting in the same kind of thing with new parents and then just resizing them to get them where I want. I've tried that. I didn't like the way that worked. So I'm not going to do that. I like to put things more in a kind of a logical arrangement. So we'll resize that. Teaching us that is a parallel to bringing. So I just bring it over here, and now they're parallel here, even though they're not aligned under grace. Teaching us that, having denied ungodliness and worldly passions. So that's part of teaching us. And this also is part of that. Which leaves 2:12 empty, so I'm going to delete it and go up here and make that a range. Okay, so that's that verse. And then waiting for the blessed hope of the appearing. That's underneath the main point. But I'm not going to bring it up to this node. I'm going to instead make these nodes here wider until weighting is pretty much where I want it, under the word grace. Then this goes here, and then down in who gave himself for us so that, I'm going to break it at that point. Who gave himself up so that, and I'll split it and move this over here. Then he divides we should live into three separate things. So I'm going to go in here and we should live, split, move, edit in a self-controlled manner, and he likes to leave the ands on the end of a line, so I'm going to do that. Justly and reverently split. I'm also going to split in the present age because I had a question about that, and it makes it easier to address that way. And because we should live, that's related to having been denied. I'm going to split off that as well to make that parallelism more clear. And I'm resizing that. And the reason I left off in the present age, let me zoom in on this a little bit. He has reverently in the present age, and it was unclear to me whether he meant to say that reverently is the only thing that's done in the present age, or if it's this block of things that the way we should live that's in the present age, or if it's both these things we have denied and how we should live that's in the present age, this whole thing. And I have a resource in Logos Bible software that indicates to me, now I'm Greek ignorant, so I don't put myself above Bill Mounce in any way, obviously, but he did say, Bill Mounce said in his videos, that a lot of this is kind of subjective and interpretive, so he encouraged people to look at it on their own and do it whatever way made sense to them, preferably staying close to the Greek. But so this resource in Logos led me to believe that present age is not just about living reverently, it's about more than that. So I'm going to delete that from here, and there's one way of looking at it would be to put in that it would relate to all of these. Now I'm pressing with these highlighted or selected, I'm pressing and hovering over one of them, I'm clicking the right mouse button and putting in a new summary node. Now I have mapped that to be Alt-Shift-Insert. You may look here and see how it's mapped on your computer. But I'm going to click that and then press enter. So now this is a summary node. It links or relates this to all of these. Some of my resources in Logos indicated that it went this way, but there was one that I especially like that indicated that it went this way. That in the present age we are to, I'm going to put temporarily put a cloud around this so that we can see it's all related now. In the present age we are to deny these things and live this way. Now I could go ahead and leave that cloud on, but I'm going to take it off right now. So we don't have our alignment yet. This is these two things relating to these two things are not underneath grace. They will be. Now, depending on the way your mind works, you may be able to just relate everything as it is and come and see the same kind of relationships you see here. But we will later move these things so they are aligned. So waiting for the blessed hope. Now I'm going to shift click so these are both selected. And I'm going to resize these. And you'll notice that they both resize at the same time. Now this is as wide as we want it. So now I'm just going to work on this one and resize it. Who gave himself up that two things. We might redeem, he might redeem us and cleanse for himself. So we have to split here. He might redeem us from all lawlessness and split, cleanse us for a special people. And then this goes here. So now we have to control click, and I'm going to resize this one, and then we don't need to resize that anymore, so I control clicked, resize, don't need that one anymore, and now resize. Okay, so we've done all the breaking apart into various groups. I'm going to click on any one of these verses, and then I'm holding my control key down, and I'm holding my left mouse button down, and then moving up, or the mouse away from me, and that spreads these apart a little bit. I'm going to do something similar to these and get them kind of sucked up together a little bit more. Okay, so again, depending on how your mind works, so you may be able to ignore these borders around the nodes or these lines which are called edges, but we can hide those. I'm going to select everything. I pressed clicking here, and I'm pressing shift right arrow, and that selects everything. I'm going to control click on that one because I'm going to apply something that I don't want that to be part of because of the summary. So now I'm going to display the properties panel, view, toolbars, properties panel, and again on my computer it's F9. That's how I've mapped it. So, and if you notice, this has an extra tab, presentations. I'm using version 1.6.1 alpha, which has the presentation tab. The current stable release is 1.3.18, I believe, but it'll work the same way in the stable release. You just won't see this presentation tab. But on the format tab, we'll go down to the bottom of that to edges, and again these lines are the edges. I'm going to go from smoothly curved to hide. At the same time, I'm going to make that white, and I'm also going to change the alpha. I'm going to take it down to 0. Now I'm going to close that presentation tab and click on this main branch. So now we don't see those lines in there. So it's starting to look a little bit more like this. We see that arrow between, well, first of all, we see this highlight, God and Savior Jesus Christ. He did that because it's a very important point. It's one of the clearest statements that Jesus is God. But he also did it with this arrow because who is a pronoun referring back to God and Savior Jesus Christ. So we will put an arrow for that. Again, this was done in a word processing program that will let you highlight individual words in a sentence. I could not find any way to do that in Freeplane, but you can provide highlighting. Now I went to edit. Well, let's see. An easier way is right click here and go edit node core in dialog. For my computer, that's Control F2. So I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to press Control B as in boy to bold. I'm going to go to this format, and G, or Control G would be green. I'm also going to change the font size on that particular set of words that's highlighted there. So now I'm going to have to resize that a little bit more. So this is not exactly like that. I did play around with a way to create another child node and put a big border around it and then move it over the top of this with it had a transparent color. That was just too much work. I didn't think it was worth it doing that. Now when I come down here, I'm going to go back in and edit this, and I'm going to copy that or cut it and then shift insert to create a new parent, and I'm going to paste that in there. Now at this point we put borders around this, and this has a border, so I'm going to click all of those and go back in my control panel, or my properties panel, go up to node border, and I'm going to change the color just like we did before. It's already going to be white, but I'm going to take the alpha back down. So now we've removed those. And because this is green, I want to make it clear that this is related. So I'm going to go back into this dialog, Control B, Control G, and then OK. So now this is green and that's green. And I'm going to draw an arrow like he has. So I start here and I right click on the mouse and just drag till this is highlighted, let up. So that gives me a curved connector line. I'm going to manipulate that a little bit, and in order to do so, I'm unfolding the text that's related to who. That's just simply pressing the space bar. So space expands it or unfolds it. Space folds it back in. That's so that I can access both sides of this connection. I'm going to click here and just start dragging and kind of moving down and then moving back up. And okay, I didn't put an arrow on that. Let's see, arrow. So now we have an arrow. And now I'm going to unfold again. So that gives us an arrow from this pronoun back to what it refers to. Similar to what he has in his. Now this other arrow is a little bit more problematic. Let me zoom in on that. He put this arrow in this particular place and with that circle at the end because he says that all of this is what we're supposed to be doing now, but we're supposed to be doing it expectantly, expecting this blessed hope, the appearing of Jesus. But he didn't want to tie it specifically to this or to this. He wanted to relate to both of them. That's what this signifies to him, this arrow with, or line with a circle. Now, in mine, you can do that by selecting both of these, putting in a new parent, shift insert, and then drawing the arrow, holding down the right mouse button to there, and Again, hiding this so that we can see what we're doing. And then you could drag these around so that you can see a relationship. And then we'll unfold that, unfold that. Whether that works or not, I don't know. It's not as good as his way of doing it here, but where I have made a connection between the present age and all of this stuff, I think I prefer to just draw an arrow from here. And I'm just going to click and make, instead of a curve, a line. And then, so that to me says about the same thing as that. You could do it either way. I prefer this. So I'm going to go in here and delete. I right click on this to access the connector properties. And I'm just going to remove that. And I'm going to move that in and delete that one. So we're back where we were on that. It also took out my arrow there, so I'll put that back in. And change that to line. Okay, so this is, it's getting closer. We have this highlighted. We have this emphasized. We have our arrows. But we need to do the alignment. And this video is getting long enough. I'm going to quit right now, and part 2 will be the aligning process. After I go ahead and take off the border of that. So again, a node border, and drag that. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.